Want to know why? Ask how. Howard! The humongous! I don't know about you, but dogs are my favorite things on earth. Get love from a human, and it's conditional. It can go wonky on you and explode in your face at any minute. You have no idea of what kind of emotional demands another human is going to make on you in exchange for that little bit of joy that he or she gets from your existence every great once in a while. That little bit of joy called love. But when a dog gets joy out of you, you have absolutely no question about it. You know that dog loves you, and it doesn't even love you for the price of kibble. It doesn't even love you for the price of a walk a day. It's going to love you even if you never produce another bit of kibble again. Even if you never take it on another walk, it loves you more than walks and kibble. How could you possibly be loved more than that? But today, researchers at the University of Bari in Italy and the University of Trieste in the journal Current Biology produced a very interesting piece of research. For 3 years, these researchers have been on the track of a simple little fact. Not all wags of the tail are the same. When a dog wags his or her tail to the right, it doesn't mean the same thing as it means when that dog wags his or her tail to the left. And in those wags of the tail is a story of your brain and mine. What in the world do I mean? 3 years ago, the researchers did a study that demonstrated that when a dog is happy and positive about something, he wags his tail to the right. But when a dog is unhappy or apprehensive about something, he wags his tail to the left. In other words, one half of the dog's brain is happy, and one half of the dog's brain is focused on upset, fear, and misery. One half of the dog's brain? What in the world am I talking about? I thought we were at the other end of the dog, the tail. What does that have to do with the brain? Well, it turns out that the direction in which you move your muscles indicates what part of the brain you are using. When you move your left hand, it's your right brain that's doing the moving. When you move your right hand, it's the left hand of your brain that's doing the moving. Now, we've all heard for the last 20 years about the differences between the left and the right brain. The right brain is the brain that sees the big picture. The right brain is the brain that integrates things. The right brain is the part of the brain that gets things intuitively and emotionally. The left brain is very different. The left brain is analytic. The left brain thinks by taking things apart and putting them back together and seeing how they work as a machine. The left brain is the part of the brain that sees things with words and intellect. The left brain, the right brain, gets a lot of signals from the emotions. But the left brain sends a lot of signals back to the emotions and controls them. It works with inhibiting you, and it's inhibition, strangely enough, holding things back. Not just wildly enthusing with emotional things. It's holding things back that helps make you human. 20 years of research has also demonstrated that one half of the brain is happy and one half of the brain is, well, miserable. Which half of the brain would you suspect would be the happy half of the brain? Well, obviously, it's the intuitive half of the brain. Obviously, it's the half of the brain that sees pattern on a large scale. Obviously, it's the half of the brain that sees the big picture, that's able to put unities together. Not the half of the brain that quibbles, not the half of the brain that slices things apart, not the half of the brain that analyzes things, not the half of the brain that uses logic and words, right? Absolutely wrong. The miserable part of the brain, the fearful part of the brain, the depressed part of the brain is the right brain, the brain that has the intuitive, holistic view of things. The happy part of the brain is the part of the brain on the left that uses words, that analyzes things, that uses logic, that tries to see how things fit together, how they work together, and that inhibits you. Not the intuitive part of the brain. The intuitive part of the brain tends to be miserable. It's the logical part of the brain that gains a sense of control over things. That's the happy part of the brain. What does that have to do with the wag of the tail in the dog? Well, which is the happy wag? It's the wag to the right. What part of the dog's brain controls the wag to the right? The left-hand side of the brain, the part of the brain that in humans is analytic, slices things up with words, uses abstractions, and uses inhibition. And when the dog is apprehensive, when the dog is fearful, when the dog is uncertain, which direction does his tail wag? It wags to the left, meaning it's under the control of the right-hand side of the brain, the part of the brain that in humans is intuitive and holistic. So in fact, things in your brain emotionally are very much the opposite of what they seem. Those wonderful, intuitive, holistic sense of things, the sense of things in which I find enormous pleasure, tend to be miserable. The analytic, abstract, verbal, self-controlling sense of things in the left-hand side of the brain, they have the capacity for exuberance. How do we know? The dog's tail. This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make, if only some of us are competent enough to find the part that suppresses and controls things, the part that corresponds to the left-hand side of the brain, the off button. There.